A new study has found that Singaporeans are more willing to accept lab-grown meat than Americans. Researchers say kiasuism, or the fear of losing out, could be the reason. More than 600 Singaporeans and 750 Americans were analysed on their perceptions of the novel food technology. And my colleague, Lok Wei Su, is speaking to the study lead, Associate Professor Mark Chong from the Singapore Management University.
Now, Professor Chong, explain this to me. How exactly does the fear of losing out translate into being more accepting of lab-grown meat?
Well, the cultural trait of kiasuism refers to the fear of losing out and the fear of being left behind. This fear may motivate Singapore consumers to put more emphasis on the projection of an image of being ahead of the curve. So, for instance, by being more accepting of novel foods such as lab-grown meat and lab-grown other forms of lab-grown protein.
Okay, I'll pick this up from your study. Now, you say people choose the food they choose for several reasons. They can choose it because it's good for them nutritionally. They can choose it because they like the taste of it. They can choose it because of the environment, as an example. Or they can choose it, and I quote you, because they want to convey a particular impression of themselves to others, especially in social situations. Now, when you measure why we choose lab-grown meat, and there are all these different reasons why we might choose that, how do you single out one factor, the social factor, as being the most salient compared to the other factors?
So our study is focused exclusively on social image motivations. And we were able to do that using a scale which we applied to both consumer groups in Singapore and the US. And the Singapore consumers consistently came up as being more motivated by social image concerns. In other words, they are more motivated to present a favorable image of themselves to others through their behaviors and through their actions. And these actions could include the eating of specific foods that put them in the position of being trailblazers.
So very quickly, what sort of methodology did you use to allow you to single out this social factor?
So we used an online survey platform called Qualtrics, and the survey sample is a representative one, which reflects the general ethnic and gender mix of both countries.
All right. Since we're staying on this social, and one of the results which was interesting, as you point out, how, considering most of us, at least anecdotally, are hugely influenced by social media influencers, whether experts or just people who are popular on social media, oddly enough, whether in the US or in Singapore, on the matter of accepting lab-grown meat, for some reason, social media influencers were not quite so influential on this matter.
Yes, the study shows that the celebrity influencers versus the expert influencers did not show any difference in their effect on fostering consumer acceptance of lab-grown meat in both countries. However, the study did not determine whether social media influencers as a category had an impact on consumer acceptance. What we were able to determine was that there was no difference between the influence of celebrity influencers and the influence of expert influencers.
So what does that suggest, at least in the area of lab-grown meats, if we were wanting to make this more acceptable to the public in Singapore? What would food producers need to do? What would a government need to do?
Yes, based on our study findings, we propose that lab-grown meat companies and other players in the industry may want to boost media coverage, and this includes also social media coverage of product firsts. So by product firsts, I mean the first lab-grown chicken in the world, the first lab-grown beef in the world, because this may feed into Singapore consumers' motivation to project this image of being a trailblazer. So by being among the first to try these trailblazing products, they could wear that behavior as a badge of honor, almost.
Thanks for that. Mark Chong, Associate Professor of Communication Management at SMU.